faculties and law faculties and all that goes with great complex research centers. I think among the many things that the United States economy does very well, and of course I'm very biased in this, in what I'm about to say, I think it does nothing so well as the higher education sector, actually. Now, again, that may be taken only as a crude self-advertisement, but in my view, the higher education sector of the United States really is an amazing social construction. It is a product of the federal government, for example, which established land-grant universities already back in 1862, signed by President Abraham Lincoln. And that's where all our great agricultural state universities came from, way back 150 years ago. And private universities, which I've been thrilled to be part of. Harvard University, founded in 1636, and Columbia University, where I am today, in 1754. These were private institutions, always with public charters, but with private funding. So we have state universities, federal financing, local community colleges, and we view it more, and I think absolutely rightly, that everybody ought to go on for some kind of tertiary education. That's what a high-income, knowledge-rich society requires. And I would really propose for Malaysia this mixed system of public and private universities. Don't keep a state monopoly. Don't shun the private universities because they may be too elite or something else. Let competition and all the niches be filled. And also one thing that is another wonderful part of the U.S. tradition, which I strongly commend to here, and that is philanthropy to higher education. You've got a lot of very rich people in this country. They owe a lot to this society for helping them to become rich. They've been able to do very well through 50 years of peace in a dynamic economy. And I do hope that Malaysia's rich give to the university sector, because that's a key source of true excellence in a university, is that kind of philanthropic contribution. No university can survive only on public handouts and on its own tuition, not even close. And so alumni of the universities, please give to your universities. And when you're not alumni, give anyway, and help to build a future here, because that's really critical for the dynamism of the country in the future. A third part of the future that I believe is remarkable is the whole reinvigoration of the Indian Ocean in every aspect. Now, the Indian Ocean was the center of the world economy 500 years ago. It took a somewhat bad turn for 450 years. It was colonized. It was subject to imperial rule. There was a lot of unhappiness that resulted. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of independence here and basically throughout the region. Without independence, there was no development. You can't develop under imperial control of someone else. It was independence that allowed for this rapid growth to take hold. I see dynamism everywhere in the Indian Ocean, even in East Africa, the poorest part of the Indian Ocean. I see dynamism taking hold. What I see particularly thrilling for the world is the rise of China and India, the two greatest population centers of the world, both now with the wind in the sails of rapid growth. And how much more thrilling could it be for Malaysia that a country with this great diversity, with Malay society, Indian society, and Chinese society, has these two great neighbors that are going to be absolutely engines of global development, and you're perfectly placed as a springboard to both of those countries. And so once in a while, I've heard it in the past said that China's a threat to Malaysia's prosperity, or India's a threat to Malaysia's prosperity. That's basically nonsense. A dynamic neighborhood is the best ticket to prosperity for anybody. And you are uniquely placed, I would say, to take advantage of this very, very rapid growth of the two giants of the world by language, by culture, by proximity, and this is, from my point of view, extremely exciting. If you could get it so that everybody here speaks Malay, speaks English, speaks Mandarin, and speaks an Indian language, you'd really have it made. Think of all of the business opportunities you'd have. You're not really so far from that because you have the possibility of a deep enculturation into all of Asia. Malaysia is Asia, I hear on CNN every day. Simply Asia, so make use of it. It seems to me to be a great, a tremendous, tremendous potential. Next, let me mention, quite obviously, the physical environment. And here, I think that there is increasing attention and stewardship of the natural environment in this country. But I actually don't know of another country where the prosperity is so self-evidently dependent on a healthy natural environment. So there is no way, and I think it's absolutely transparent, no way for Malaysia to mine its environment, devour its rainforests, or overfish its coasts, or otherwise threaten its biodiversity and expect to be as productive and prosperous as it seeks to be. Because this is a country that so fundamentally lives on a healthy physical environment. And so making, through tourism, through agro-industry, through biodiversity, through public health, you need the natural environment to be healthy. And so just make sure you keep this as a high priority. Nobody else does right now. This is the biggest failing on the planet, is the failing of environmental stewardship. It's viewed as a second-rank issue or a third-rank issue, and it's not. It's going to be right at the top of geopolitics and right at the top of national interest in this century. And that's because we're pushing on a global scale so hard against the physical environment right now. We could literally wreck the planet. That's not just a slogan or a cliche. It happens to be the sad truth. I direct a research institute called the Earth Institute, which has a few economists, but mainly it has climatologists and ecologists and environmental engineers. So I get to hear the sorry state of the world every day. And believe me, it's true. We're in trouble on the environment. We're really in trouble. And my own country hasn't figured it out yet at all. And we need to. And we need to lead, but Malaysia's really going to need to lead as well. We have global climate change negotiations coming up, and I hope that Malaysia takes a lead in those discussions. It's not the biggest country in the world. It's not the biggest emitter, but it has a voice of credibility throughout the world. It has a huge stake in preventing climate change from getting out of hand. It's got the leading voice, one of the leading voices in the Organization of Islamic Countries. I really hope that we hear Malaysia's voice strongly on the global climate change. It's vital for your own prosperity in the future, as well as for the world's prosperity. The next area I wanted to mention was information technology. Obviously, everything about a knowledge-rich economy these days depends on IT. This is one thing I feel is actually lagging a little bit in the countryside. And it's one thing that I think could be added in effectively to your rural development strategies. I'd like to see all the schools, all the clinics, and the houses online. Look at how